Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to today's Friday Reflections on this Friday, the 26th of August, 2022. I hope you are well wherever you are tuning into this from, enjoying Juma Mubarak, and having a good day and looking forward to the weekend. For those who are not so fortunate, my heart goes out to them and I always keep you in my prayers. Today, I would like to continue reading from this beautiful book, The Banquet for the Soul by Mawlana Shaykh Hisham Kabbani, a great scholar of our present times and Sheikh of the Naqshbandi Tariqah. This book was published in 2008, I believe. Yeah, that's right. And I'm going to be reading from page 70, Divine Inspiration. Sayyidina Fatima's choice. Whatever the Prophet ﷺ wants will happen. God the Exalted created the whole universe for the sake of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If not for you, O Muhammad, I would not have created the heavenly bodies. This is based upon a number of ahadith. Allah will never say to the Prophet ﷺ, no. And the Prophet ﷺ never spoke except what was revelation. He does not speak from his own desires. That which he conveys to you is but a divine inspiration with which he is being inspired. This is from Surah An-Najm, the Star, 53, verses 3 to 4. Even with all this authority, the Prophet ﷺ asked his daughter if she would marry Sayyidina Ali alayhi salam. He asked her if she would accept him, even though his words were spoken from revelation. Grand Sheikh said that today there are people who force their daughters to marry for a handful of money. And if they don't marry who they choose, they beat them. The Prophet, peace be upon him, upholds makarim al-akhlaq, the highest character. Thus, he doesn't need to ask. He has the best manners and did not command his daughter to marry Sayyidina Ali. Instead, he asked, would you like to marry Sayyidina Ali? Surprisingly, she answered no. But of course, she had a good reason. Who would have thought? Yeah, initial answer is no. Of course, those who know the story, but it's if you didn't know the story, who would have thought? So Grand Sheikh, he continued, this is Sheikh Abdullah Fayez al-Dagestani, and he added some details to this story. He said, when Sayyidina Fatima declined, the Prophet turned red. This is a very important point. He became embarrassed, not angry, embarrassed. He thought that the reason was because Allah had given Sayyidina Ali long eyebrows that were connected across his forehead like a visor. This is because he was an expert warrior, and equipped with these eyebrows, he could keep the sweat from his eyes during battle. The Prophet ﷺ thought that perhaps she preferred Sayyidina Umar because he was more attractive than Sayyidina Ali. Consider this point carefully. We say the Prophet ﷺ knows everything, and some say that the friends of God know everything. Don't say that the Shaykh knows everything. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants his Prophet to know everything, then his Prophet ﷺ knows everything. To be sure, Allah gave him the knowledge of the first and the last. Permission to know. If Allah wants a friend of God to know certain things, he would inherit them from the Prophet ﷺ. If he doesn't want them to know, then he blocks this knowledge. Therefore, the friends of Allah also may be under a test. Many people today think they reached a high level of spirituality. Allah controls these levels and will block you where he wishes. That is an important point. Beware. When we think we have an inspiration, when we hear a voice in our heads, it might not be the truth. And of course, in many cases, it's not going to be. And especially for most people. Well, that doesn't preclude the possibility that it can be. People do get inspiration, but a lot of inspirations are just their own thoughts swimming around. And, you know, awliya Allah, they're not born awliya Allah. They start off as normal people for the most part, at least at the beginning. I mean, they may be destined by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to become something more, but they start off as a normal person. If Allah chooses to raise someone, then Allah chooses to raise them. But they never start off that way. Even the Prophet ﷺ himself, who was a prophet of Allah, was still born as a baby. He grew up as a child. Now, of course, he would have been a baby unlike any other baby, and a child unlike any other child, because he was specially chosen by Allah, because he was the Prophet of Allah. And the same is true of all of the prophets. But for the rest of us, whatever station we occupy in this life or station we occupy in paradise, we have to start off at a normal level. We have to start off as a normal person. It takes time for people to spiritually grow. And even then, you've got to be careful of the tricks of the ego, because the tricks of the ego will make you think that you are, you know, spiritually rising or something, when it's just your imagination. So be very careful. Today, technology to filter emails is common. Programming on the receiving servers distinguishes and isolates spam from legitimate messages. Similarly, our ears are like this. Thousands and thousands of signals come in, and we must filter them. If not, then we mix apples and oranges, and it becomes like a soup. Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam was a prophet. And what happened? Then began Satan to whisper suggestions to them, bringing openly before their minds all their shame that was hidden from them before. He said, "Your Lord only forbade you this tree, lest you should become angels or such beings as live forever." This is obviously from the Quran in Surah 7, Ayah 20. As soon as they listened to Satan, their nakedness became evident. At that point, they began to cover themselves with fig leaves. So don't expose yourself. They thought that what came into their heads was correct. They mistakenly thought that Allah told them not to eat from the tree because he didn't want them to eat to become angels who would live forever. So they mixed apples and oranges. They mixed the real inspirations of heaven and the ones from Satan. They don't filter thoughts. And what happened? They fell down. So whenever you are inspired don't think immediately that this is the truth, but try to distinguish what enters your mind, especially before speaking about it or acting upon it. It's good if you do get some kind of inspiration that comes to your mind or to your heart, to sit on it for a while, reflect on it. Not to immediately think that maybe this is a good idea or that this is special or anything. Don't ignore it necessarily, because even if it's a bad thing, you have to watch it. You have to know, just like as Mawlana Shaykh Hisham is saying here, you have to know when you get emails if it's spam. You have to be able to identify it, so you don't just ignore it and forget about it completely. But be aware of the different thoughts and inspirations that come into your minds and your hearts. And sometimes you'll get special ones, but it's not going to be every thought. Grand Sheikh said that sometimes we don't have enough knowledge and are confused by thoughts and inspirations. We must ask ourselves if what we are hearing is permissible in Islam. If so, it is inspiration, and if not, it is a whisper. So we must be on guard against the whispers and distinguish what comes to our minds, our thoughts, and hearts, inspiration. A friend of God who rejected the angels, Grand Sheikh, may Allah bless him, related the story about a waliullah, a friend of Allah. The waliullah said, "O my Lord, I am not happy with your angels. I am not accepting them, all of them." Allah said, "If you don't accept them, they are my angels." He said, "I prefer to go to the hellfire than to accept them." Friends of Allah have hatif, like a heavenly telephone, and with that direct line, they hear Allah, the Exalted, through angels. But that friend of Allah was not accepting them, even though by means of angels, he was hearing heavenly messages. Allah asked, "Why?" The friend of Allah replied, "Send me to the hellfire, for I will be happier there than sitting with them." Allah asked, "Why?" The friend of God said, "Because, O my Lord, when you asked them something, they criticized and complained." Allah asked, "What did they complain about?" The friend of Allah quoted the verse, "Behold, your Lord said to the angels, I will create a vicegerent on the earth." A vicegerent on the earth. They asked, "Will you place therein one who will make mischief and shed blood?" While we celebrate your praises and glorify your holy name, he said, "I know what you know not." Of course, this is from the Holy Quran in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 30. Look how far the knowledge of the friends of Allah reaches. What Grand Sheikh is teaching us, the angels objected that Allah would create a race of creatures that sheds the blood of his creation, while all they do is praise God, the Exalted, which should be enough. Yet Allah tells them they must submit to his will because he knows best. It's a strange one, isn't it? You see, the angels, when Allah was going to create Adam, the angels questioned and says, "Why would you create someone who is in a race of beings, not just one, but a whole race of beings, and they're going to shed blood and do bad things. Why would you do that, Allah? You have filled the earth for the creatures, and all of those creatures, they are praising you, and we are praising you. Why would you create a being that will come on the earth and shed blood and make a mess of things? What would you do that for? So see, this Wali Allah, he was questioning, why should I trust the angels? Why should I like the angels when they questioned you, Allah? But ultimately, Allah tells them they must submit to His will. And of course they do. And the next verse in Surah Al-Baqarah is, and He imparted unto Adam the names of all things. Then He brought them within the den of the angels and said, declare unto me the names of these things, if what you say is true. They replied, you are limitless in your glory. No knowledge have we, save that which you imparted to us. Verily, you alone are all-knowing and truly wise. So you see, Adam alayhi salam was brought into the company of the angels, and the angels were asked, tell the names of the things which I gave this man. The angels didn't know, so they just said, praise be to you, God, you are limitless in your glory. And we don't know anything except what you've told us. That only God knows. To show the angels that Adam alayhi salam is honored more than them, Allah taught him the names. What names? Yours and mine? Mine and yours? Adam was taught the names for the sake of the light of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In teaching him the names, Allah gave Adam alayhi salam the ability to reach the light of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam through the forehead of Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam. In this fashion, he learned the names of all creation, those that Allah is continuously creating in every moment. Allah commanded the angels, tell me their names. And they said, we do not know. And then Allah commanded Adam to show them the names. He said, O Adam, convey unto them the names of those things. And as soon as Adam had conveyed unto them their names, Allah said, did I not say unto you, verily, I alone know the hidden reality of the heavens and the earth, and know all that you bring into the open, and all that you would conceal. Then the friend of God said, that is why I don't like the angels, and they don't listen and obey you. Remember, friends of Allah are the beloved of Allah. My saints are under my domes. No one knows them except me. This is in Imam al-Ghazali's Ihya Ulumuddin. So these inspirations must be filtered. You cannot take everything that comes to mind and begin saying things based on it. When we were young, Sheikh Adnan and I completely accepted whatever Grand Sheikh had to say, which is the correct attitude. Sometimes out of love or inspiration, a certain whispering would come to our ears. Notions that mixed with what Grand Sheikh was teaching us. Things would become mixed in our heads like oranges and apples, like a soup. Out of love, we were saying things and praising Grand Sheikh in ways that would sometimes go beyond the limits. There would be a discussion of issues, and we would speak from our inspiration. Once we did this in print, and the court called Grand Sheikh to answer for it. They didn't understand it. We were young. Sometimes Grand Sheikh would reveal high-level information in private that could not be understood by common folk, sometimes not even by scholars. The authorities, seeing this in print, sought an explanation and called us to court. We had to take Grand Sheikh to court and stand before a judge. So you must be very careful what you say and to whom. Sometimes you must analyze your actions before repeating spiritual issues we heard in discussion within the Sufi order. Do not go and post things on the internet without permission and create a problem without benefit. And this is also the reason why it's important within Islam that you learn the spiritual knowledge, but you also have an understanding, at least to some degree, of jurisprudence. You have an understanding of what is permissible within Islam, and the basic framework is actually quite simple. Obviously, you go deeper into it, it becomes more complicated, like with any subject, but the basic framework is quite simple. And if you're not even equipped with that, then it's very easy to say something which is wrong or which goes outside of what Islam teaches. There is nothing which the Sufis teach, the genuine Sufis, there is nothing which they teach which is outside of Islam. Sometimes things might be misunderstood because it is a deeper level of understanding, much deeper. It's like an ocean. You know, if you just learn basic fiqh and sharia, it's like scratch the surface. Or if you've got like, it's like taking a teaspoon out of the ocean. Obviously, the depths of the ocean are vast. But at the same time, there is nothing in those depths of the ocean which is going against the Sharia. There is nothing which is going against Islam. But you have to be equipped with that framework. Otherwise, if you're not equipped with that framework, it's very easy to say things. And I've heard it many times when I've sat with murids in this tariqah and also in other tariqahs. And sometimes people say the most remarkable of things. And I mean, I'm in discussions with people who, you know, obviously they confide in me and ask me for advice and stuff. And I've had to advise them, you know, just be careful. Don't take what the murids say as guidance. A person has to have a certain level of knowledge, understanding, and connection before what they can teach is haqq. And I mean no disrespect to any particular murids, and I know a lot of murids that go out of their way to help fellow murids, and in principle there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just sometimes among the murids you will get people who will say things which are sometimes quite remarkable and things which shouldn't be taken for as advice. So it's important to read Quran. It's important to have some understanding from the books of fiqh. It's important to, obviously, to sit with your sheikh and listen to what your sheikh has to say, or failing that, if your sheikh is far away, get the books of the sheikh and read the books, preferably a bit of both, because, you know, our sheikhs are very busy people, and, you know, to actually sit with everybody when they've got thousands or hundreds of thousands of murids, it's not always possible for them to give that much time. So you need to do a bit of both. But, you know, look at what the sheikhs actually say. Listen to what they say. Often the people that sit around the sheikh, they're there for the same reason you're there. Inshallah, everybody's there with good intention and sincerity. And it's to learn and benefit from the sheikh. So of course, Among those murids, there are going to be some that are more advanced. There are going to be some that are going to go on and teach themselves. But you can't rely on all of the murids for that knowledge. Even people, sometimes murids, they can have sat with a sheikh for a very long time and they still can't guide. I'm going to return back to the book. Sometimes you must analyze your actions before repeating spiritual issues. Okay, I read that paragraph. Okay, the dowry. There is a powerful hadith about Sayyidina Fatima Azara. On Judgment Day, before everything, she will say, "Oh my Lord, give me my dowry, or else my marriage with Sayyidina Ali is not complete." That dowry is the whole community, the Ummah. So God, the Exalted, will protect the entire community for the sake of Sayyidina Fatima. Consider the importance of one lady. Remember how Allah honored the Ahlul Bayt and honored women because they are women. Grand Sheikh said, Allah will make his judgment. The people of hell will be sent to hell, and the people of paradise will be sent to paradise. Then Sayyidina Fatima will ask to have her dowry, even before the intercession of the Prophet ﷺ. Our Lady will have the power to pull people out of hell. The Prophet ﷺ has the power to intercede. His intercession is to dress the whole community with the manifestations of mercy that are coming on Judgment Day. Thus, by the intercession of Sayyidina Fatima, they will be taken to paradise. And with the intercession of the Prophet ﷺ, they will be raised. Those on whom is the grace of Allah, the prophets who teach, the sincere lovers of truth, the witnesses who testify, and the righteous who do good. Ah, what a beautiful fellowship. Wa min Allahi tawfiq bil humati al-Fatiha. Subhanallah. And that last verse I read is from Surah An-Nisa, Surah, which is Surah 4, and it's Ayah 69, if anybody wants to check. So I hope you found that interesting and thought-provoking and something to reflect upon, which is the whole point of these Friday reflections. We should take some time out to study our deen, to understand our deen, and through a combination of things, through reading Quran, through reading Hadith, through reading Sirah, through the biography of the Prophet ﷺ, and through reading books like this that are written by our sheikhs, and thinking about them, reflecting upon them, seeking to understand. I actually get a lot of people, they say to me that I have a lot of knowledge. And this is other people's words, not my words. And I, on the other hand, am very aware of how much I'm yet to learn. I have a whole library of books that I've been collecting on Islam and other subjects that I want to learn about. And I never have the time in the day to be able to study these books as much as I would like. There is so much knowledge. And every Muslim has a duty to seek knowledge. It's a responsibility upon us. And why? Because from knowledge comes so many good things. Good things for ourselves, good things for our families, good things for our communities. So, to whatever is your ability in terms of time and your level of education, seek knowledge. And may Allah grant that you are blessed with a lot of knowledge and wisdom through this search. It is really so beneficial. I cannot just, I cannot say even, it's just how beneficial it is. It's just really, and we're so fortunate. And especially in this time, I mean, if you speak many different languages in the world now, there are books in your language that you can actually read, good quality books, which hasn't always been the case. So seek knowledge, learn, and understand that Deen is a vast, vast ocean. And the vast majority of Muslims are barely even scratching the surface. They barely even put their little fingertip in that ocean and pulled not even a drop out of that ocean. There's a thought. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. If you haven't already and you find these video broadcasts useful, don't forget to subscribe to my Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube channels. I'll be back on Monday, inshallah, for my Sufi meditation, which it's a bank holiday on Monday, so it will actually be from home. And then I'll return to the university the following week. Have a wonderful weekend, and wherever you are in the world. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May the peace and blessings of God be with you all.